If you're like I used to be, I never paid much attention to plants. I mean, they just sit there. They're so still. It's so easy to forget about them. But there are some really interesting plants. Many of them you can even buy and have in your home or your yard. Like maybe you've seen these. They're cactuses. There's some really cool cactuses out there. There are also some really colorful plants, like these. This kind is called a bromeliad. They're from the jungle. They do really well inside of people's houses. Now, where I live, I have one that's reddish orange like this, growing in my house. Here's the bromeliad's cousin. Now, this is maybe my top favorite plant that I own. Do you recognize it? That's a pineapple right there. This is a pineapple plant. It's where pineapples come from. I found this at a plant store for $10. I couldn't believe it. Oh, but actually, let me show you one of my other favorite plants I have. It's this little tree. Trees are plants too. They're just a special kind of plant. A plant that has wood and grows tall. Now, speaking of tall, this one, it's just a baby tree. But it's not just any tree. It's a baby redwood tree from California. When redwood trees grow up, they're the tallest trees in the world. I just love having a little baby one, knowing that one day it's going to get so tall. I'll have to plant it in a forest once it gets bigger so that it has room to grow. You can find interesting plants all around you. Plants growing outside, plants in the forest, plants in the garden, plants that people keep inside. There are so many different kinds of plants that you can grow at home. Once you become a plant keeper, here's something to think about though. If you're going to leave for a trip and you're gone for a few weeks, you'll need someone to take care of your plants. You'll need a babysitter for your plants. You'll need a plant sitter. Now that's a strange word you don't hear every day. A plant sitter? Why would you need someone to take care of your plants if you're going to be gone? Plants, things like trees and flowers and grass, anything that has leaves, they're all living things. Now, I know plants don't look like you or me, and they don't look like animals. They're not animals, but they are alive. And so they need to drink water, just like you, me, and animals do. Now, plants don't have mouths, but you might know that they soak up the water in their roots, like when it rains. So, if you're a plant keeper and you're gone for more than a few days, the reason you need a plant sitter is for them to come and water your plants. Otherwise, the plants will go thirsty and they'll die. Is there anything else a plant needs besides just water? Well, I want to tell you a story about a tree. There was this big old tree growing in a field of grass. Like any tree, it cast a big shadow on the ground. On a bright sunny day, if you sat near the base of the tree, it would look dark where you were sitting. The tree blocked the sunlight above. Now, one day, a powerful storm passed by. The wind was gusting. The branches on the tree were swaying back and forth very wildly. As the wind blew stronger and stronger, the old tree got knocked over. Now, it looked like this. It's sad that such a huge tree got knocked over, but something new happened. Next to the big tree, a little tree had been growing. Year after year, it never got very big. But once the big tree got knocked over, suddenly in just a few months, that little tree grew bigger and bigger and bigger than it had ever grown before. Within just a few years, it got so big that it started to take the place of the old tree that had fallen over. Everywhere we look in forests, we can find baby versions of big trees. When the big trees get old and fall over or get knocked over in a storm, the little trees around them start to grow big. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that little trees start to grow when the big trees get old and fall over? In today's activity, you're going to do an experiment to learn about what plants need to grow. You'll do it by growing plant seeds in a paper cup. You won't be growing a tree because trees take a long time to grow. Instead, you'll grow seeds from a different plant. They look like this. Do you know what these seeds will grow up to become? Each of these little seeds grow up to become radish plants. A radish is a plant that grows like a carrot. The part you eat grows underground. Today, your job is to find out whether a plant can grow without sunlight. What do you think will happen? I'll walk you through how to get started, step by step.